All right, folks, here's the long-awaited screencast on the north. I've been forced to head to my basement here. I take refuge from my dog, who keeps asking to go outside on such a nice sunny weekend here. So anyway, here we go. One minute here before we get started, guys. I'm going to put a lot of kind of bullet points up here. You don't want to focus just what's on the screen, because a lot of times I'll talk about kind of explain things more. So if you just write down what's on the screen, kind of mindlessly, first of all, you won't kind of take in that information and be able to kind of use it yourself. And secondly, there won't be enough information to really go by here. All right, once you make your final products. All right, starting the presentation on the north here. Again, I chose an image of New York City from the mid-century here, from mid-19th century. And again, the focus is going to be on urbanization. The focus is going to be about the growth of the northern population, northern cities, by various means or various reasons. So keep that in mind. All right, the first term that you're going to need to know, and I should have introduced this in class the other day probably, and I'll use this over and over again, is antebellum. All right, it's a kind of scary sounding Latin word, but all that means is before the war. So ante means before in Latin, and bellum, kind of like it's the same B-E-L from rebellion, or rebelliousness, or rebel. So before the war. All right, so when we say antebellum America, antebellum North, antebellum South, antebellum anything, that means before the Civil War. And I've chosen a great image here from the Lake Michigan coast, kind of the calm before the storm. They didn't know it at the time, but we can look back at the early 1800s and see it's kind of with that kind of dramatic tension to see things as things build toward the Civil War. All right, the geography of the North, as you guys probably found out east. Go back here. Out east, very rugged, all right, heavily forested. I'm up here into Michigan too, but once we get out of Ohio and into the prairie here, some of the best farmland on earth around the Mississippi River. All right, so grasslands in the west, foresty, hilly, ruggedness in the east. Lots of good shipping lanes. Makes Michigan a really important state economically even today because of the lakes. And then obviously the canals. Canals that head across New York and link the Atlantic Ocean with the Great Lakes, and also canals and rivers that link the Great Lakes to the Mississippi River, and then obviously and easily out to the Mississippi. The North is also rich in minerals. Right? We know that in Michigan. Michigan has been historically a center of iron ore production and copper production. So you get up to here, you get Ironwood, Iron Mountain, Copper Harbor, all of those things. All right, the climate. Right, this map here shows the average lows, but gives you kind of the strips of climate across the country. And really, the average lows are important because it determines, some plants just aren't hardy enough to make it through the winters. So up here in Michigan, according to this, the average lows in lower Michigan are somewhere in the, below zero, basically. The average annual low temperature throughout the whole year. And then we get down into the south. We'll talk about that next time. I want to make sure I'm talking only about the north here. We have long, bitter winters, short, humid summers. It can get very hot, obviously up to 100 degrees in the north too. So lots of variance. Those 4 seasons. All right, the agriculture in the north, east of the Appalachians, around the Appalachian region, is going to be subsistence agriculture. So people are farming just for themselves or for local markets, not necessarily for profit. But west of the Appalachians, you get that breadbasket region in the plains where people are, farmers are making lots of wheat and corn and then shipping it out to market. So the agriculture does play a role more in the west. On the right, you see what's known as, these amber waves of grain from America the Beautiful. That's out in the prairies. Industry in the north. This is a really kind of a focus here as we close on the first part of the video, or the first of 2 videos. Industry grew tremendously in the first half of the 19th century. That's what really changes the North. We talked about the Industrial Revolution in an earlier video, sometimes called the Market Revolution. So now that everything people were buying was made in a factory somewhere, increasingly as the century wore on. All right, again, that factory system where people were bringing together money, raw materials, workers, everything kind of in one place to make a consistent product instead of a handmade product that's going to vary from person to person. All right, these new factories need labor and acts as kind of a vacuum. People poured in from the countryside and from foreign countries for the pay and for the excitement of the cities, and these northern cities really swelled. Over 20 million people in the north by mid-century. All right, that ends video 1.